Hey there guys, it's your today's host, Christopher Cork. Today we'll be talking about the mixtures and solutions. In the nature world, most things are made of lots of different substances mixed up together well. Rocks are mostly mixtures of minerals, usually various kinds of tiny crystals. Sand on a beach is often a mixture of the tiny grains of rock and fragments of seashells. The air we breathe in is a mixture of gases, mostly nitrogen and oxygen. The sea is a special kind of a mixture called a solution, in which substances such as the salts are dissolved. As the picture provided above, the seed is salty because it's in a solution of water and of various solid substances, mostly common salt, which widely call it a sodium chloride. What's more, mixtures are different from chemical compounds. For example, if you mix together iron fillings and talcum powder, the mixture behaves in the same way as the two separate substances. The iron fillings are still magnetic, and the talcum powder still absorbs water. But if iron reacts chemically with oxygen in the air, a completely different chemical results, which is an iron oxide mixed it to be rusty. And iron oxide is not magnetic, it's reddish in color and is much weaker than iron. Now let's talk about what are those separates in mixtures. You can separate the ingredients of mixtures in various ways. Filtration is one common method. It's like passing the mixture through a sieve. If you need to separate really tiny particles from a liquid, then you need a material with even tinier holes, like a filter paper. Another way of separating mixtures is to let the less dense ingredients float to the top. For example, cream floats to the top of milk, where you can skim it off. As a part of the progress of purifying iron and other metals, the metal is heated to melting point, which is basically over 100 Celsius. The lighter impurities floats to the top of the liquid and can be skimmed off as a scum. Some industrial processes use a technique called fractional distillation to separate the mixtures of a liquid. The liquid mixtures is heat in a device called a fractionation column. Different liquids vaporized, which means to turn into gas, at different temperatures. Those that vaporize the most easily rise to the top of the column, while those with higher boiling point rise less far. This is how crude oil is refined into the products such as the jet fuel and petrol. Which another example is shown up below. Your blood is a mixture of water, cells, and various chemicals. A lot of mixtures. A scientist then can separate the blood cells from the liquids in the blood is simple by spinning it at a high speed. This forces the heavier cells to the bottom of the test tube, while the liquid is left at the top. Now, let's talk about what are those solutions. Solutions are basically a special kind of a mixture in which one substance is dissolved in another. If you put sand in the water and stir it up, the sand will eventually settle on the bottom. But if you stir salt into the water, the salt will dissolve. It will remain evenly spread throughout the water. Common salt is a chemical compound, sodium chloride. When a solid crystal of a salt is dropped into water, molecule, which is the tiny particles of water, gather on the surface of the crystal. They pull at the sodium and chloride particles, separating them from each other. Eventually, each particle is surrounded by a water molecule, and the salt is dissolved. The substance in solution can be solid, liquid, or gases, which are those three states of a matter. Beer and wine are solutions of two liquids, water and alcohol, which another word for alcohol is ethanol. Fizzled drinks are fizzled because the carbon dioxide gas is dissolved in them. When you release the pressure by opening the drink, such as the Coca-Cola and other Sprites and kind of a fizzling drink, the gas that fizzles out of a solution. Now this leads us to wonder, what are the saturation and separation? A solvent can only dissolve a certain amount of the substances. If you go on pouring salt in the water and a glass of water, eventually no more salt will dissolve, and the salt crystals will pile up at the bottom of the glass. When this happens, the solution is said to be saturated. In one way of making real coffee is to mix hot water and coffee grinds. But if you drink it like this, you would get a mouthful of gritty grains. So the mixture is separated by filter papers. This has tiny holes which are too small for the grinds to get through to just like a filter, and in order for not letting the coffee particles get through the water, there's a pore in the holes in the paper, so it stops the coffee particles to get through the water, so which will help you to easily to get drinking pure coffee. You can separate a solution of a salt and water by heating the solution until the water has all boiled away. You will be left with salt crystals. You can separate the water and alcohol in wine or beer by fractional distillation. Alcohol boils at the lower temperature than water. At the pictures that are provided below, it clearly shows up how a grain of the salt dissolves in water. Solid salts, which are those sodium chloride, is made of a tiny charged particles, which are those ions of sodium positively charged and chlorine negatively charged. Water molecules are attracted to those ions and surround each one of these. Concluding in one sentence, negative plus positive equals attractive. That's pretty much all for today's educational video show. Please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. And that's always the best way to support me. I'll see you guys there. I'll upload more episodes of those science and a lot of those chemistry things. I'll see you guys there. Bye.